For this question, we're asked to write the list of numbers in order, starting with the smallest. We've got sine of 60 degrees, cosine 60, tan 60, and root 2. And if you notice underneath, I've drawn this equilateral triangle. Let me just mark in each of the sides to show that it is equilateral. And because it's equilateral, we know that this angle here is 60 degrees. Obviously, this angle here is 60 degrees, and this top angle here is also 60 degrees. And that's why I've drawn an equilateral triangle. It ties in with the sine 60, cosine 60, and tan 60. Now what I'm going to do is going to drop in a vertical here to split this equilateral triangle into two right-angled triangles like that. Obviously, this here would be 30 degrees, and this one here would be 30 degrees. I'm going to give each length of this triangle a length of 2, 2, and 2. And because I've split this triangle into two separate triangles here, I know this length here will then be 1, and this length here will be 1. The only length I need to calculate then is that for this one here, the height. Let me just draw in a separate triangle over here. So I've got this right-angled triangle. I know this base length is 1. This length, the hypotenuse, is 2. I need to calculate the height. Now, because this is a right-angled triangle, I can use Pythagoras' theorem, which says that this length squared plus the base length squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. I can rearrange this. So h squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. Then we'll subtract the 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. And therefore h is going to be the square root of 3. Let me just write in that length here. So root 3. Now what we can do, we can express each of these trigonometric values here in terms of 2, 1, and root 3 as follows. We know that the sine of an angle is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine of the angle is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent of the angle is opposite over adjacent. In our case, we've got sine 60, which is opposite over hypotenuse. So looking at this triangle here, opposite 60, we have root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. So opposite was root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. Next we have cosine of 60, and that is adjacent over hypotenuse. So again, looking at this 60 degrees, adjacent means next to. So adjacent to 60, we've got 1. So it's 1 over the hypotenuse, which is 2. So 1 over 2, or just a half. And finally, we've got tangent of 60, which is opposite over adjacent. So again, opposite the 60, we had root 3. Adjacent, we've got 1. Root 3 over 1, or just root 3. So root 3. So I've got 3 values here that should be quite easy to put in order. Now what you can do, I'll just write them over here in fact. So sine 60 we said is root 3 over 2. So root 3 over 2. Cosine 60 is a half. Tangent of 60 is root 3. And obviously we've got the root 2 as well. Now to make these a little bit easier to compare, I could express them all over a denominator of 2. So to express this over 2, I would have to multiply by 2. And the same thing for here, over 2 and multiply by 2. So hopefully you can see these are now quite easy to see the order of the size. So the first one is going to be this one here, a half, or cosine of 60. So the first one is cosine 60. The next one is going to be sine 60. So root 3 over 2, sine 60. Next one would be the root 2. And finally, the one that's left would be tan 60. So tangent of 60. And let me just write those fractional values above each of them. So we had a half. We then had sine 60, which is root 3 over 2. And hopefully you can see root 3 is greater than 1. We just need to compare the numerators. Then we had the root 2, which we said was 2 root 2 over 2. And hopefully you can see twice root 2 is greater than root 3. And finally we had the tan 60, which was 2 root 3 over 2. And again, it should be fairly obvious. 2 times root 3 is going to be greater than 2 root 2. So the final order, cosine 60, sine 60, root 2, and tan 60. If you found this video useful, then remember to give me a quick thumbs up. And if you would like to be notified when I release new videos, then hit that subscribe button and remember to click on the little notification bell.